I would ask myself, or my parents, did they ever feel guilty about saying diabetic? And when they were not diabetic, mina diabetic. Imagine mengihleli ngiyadi guilt engayifeel mengathiwa my child gets diabetes. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It's a blessing and a half because, like you say, there's been a lot of talks and campaigns about things like HIV, but very few on diabetes. Again, ukuba kule podcast yakho or series yakho, it wasn't ideal for me because I'm a very private, introverted person or shy. But I felt the need to come through to be a part of your series because kunesidingo sokuthi sikhulume ngezinto ekanje ezingayitholi i-airtime or platform or limelight as HIV does.
Someone close to me, they came to visit me in commune, and then that's when I told them, my girlfriend is pregnant. And now what it did was he advised me to tell you what this is. And the advice yangene khanda. So what I saw what he was doing was instill my fears me when he told me abort. The downside of taking advice from other people is that they instill their own fears into you.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
What's your name?
Tando.
Tando who?
Zuma.
What's your mommy's name?
Don't know.
Your mommy's name is
Aphiwe.
What's your daddy's name?
Kele.
Hamba again, Kele. Hamba. Daddy my cam pela babe.
Wow.
Hamba Kele.
Hi.
Kele.
Ngunkele mina. Ngunkele bye igama lami.
Kanele.
Aphiwe.
Ayamjwayela.
Hamba mama. Hayi musupressa wenzani? Hambe kumama yazi ngiyambona nje impela. Hambe kumama.
Oza kwandile zini.
Uthi uyasaba kodwa uyangikhahlela. Awumkhahleli lutho
Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Tando. Days of the week.
Okay.
It's Sunday.
Days of the week?
It's Sunday.
Yeah. Oh.
Kahle phela. So khuluma ngaqeda. Ufuna ukuthini ngikhuluma?
Ufuna ukusho lento yasezolo.
Yesho.
So fanele uyidodele njalo.
Umuntu ogulayo noma umuntu ongaguli.
Umuntu ogula ingapheli ukugula.
Musudlala ngento odlala ngalapha.
Besimisa abuye ekhaya lakhe nelinye ilanga.
Hamba kodlala idatha sesizodlala nawe. Bye bye.
Nqonqwa.
April 13, 2017. Tell me more about that day.
I was in pain.
Firstly, what's that day about?
April 13, 2017 was the day our son was born. And what I remember about that day is that I admitted the day before azale cause ngacela ukuthi induce, which is to boost the induction.
You're the nurse.
Fuck, you put the thing.
What thing?
The definition. So but I asked to be induced because I was still in school and I was gonna write exams. So I don't want to miss too much. And Velumdan I was supposed to be due in around April. but late in April, and we had already started writing. We're gonna start writing late in April, May, kanjalo. Because there's 2 semesters in varsity. So this is nursing, by the way, because and then we do practicals and shit. So I was already almost full term, and so they started inducing me on the 16th at night. The morning of the 17th, the morning of the 13th of April, righty, bafike bangiphinde jail. Then I started feeling pain after a couple hours, and they gave me painkillers. And long story short, I gave birth. I pushed twice, literally twice. Ikhanda, my shoulders waphuma umntwana, and ngiyahlezi ngibezwa omama besho ukuthi I love at first sight, I fell in love with my child. Ngangimsaba nje.
Usabani?
Ngeke ngikwazi ukutshela, I can't describe. It's
Ukuba fragile kwakhe.
fragile, and I just loved him so much. I didn't want to touch you funny. I didn't want to hold you funny. I didn't want to hurt you. Like, I was just scared.
What did you think?
And I was just like,
that's
that's mine. Nothing, no one I knew of. What I knew was, that's mine.
No, the reason why you was so fun is because when you sent me the picture,
that was after a couple hours, couple hour after Izali. Yeah, but when I sent you that picture, why say cleaniwe? Sula nami sebengicishe bangenza kuyimabezo. But soon after that, ngambona phela ngoba ngavula amehlo. Ngambona, because he didn't cry immediately. He cried my seconds, and I was like, but when I saw his face, I was like, that's mine. Oh my words, what have I done? What have I brought to this world? What am I gonna do? Ngizomthanda kanjani? Will he be okay with me being his mom? Like, there's irrational fears, nje, I would say, like, that I had. I don't think other people relate because so many people talk about loving a kid, and I don't know, but I mean, I just had irrational fears, and just the thing of, I want to love you right. I don't know how, but I just want to love you right.
You never had any fears of, what do you call this,
postpartum depression?
Yeah,
no, I think postpartum depression is not something you foresee. It's just something that happens.
Oh,
it's because it's a mental disorder. No. But I just had that fear, oh my word, I hope I can love you right. I hope I can be low my mom deserve. That's the first thing that I thought. And so when they did give him to me, Suliwe and stuff, I thought to myself, he's not heavy, but he's a human. Like, and I took pictures, I showed everyone the car, and now in accent, they like home.
Who's the first person you're gonna picture?
My mom.
Oh,
yeah,
mom. Okay.
My mom, because my mom was out. Another thing, we private hospital there, because I gave birth to Lutando, a Crompton Hospital, which is in Pinetown. And they told me, because I asked them prior, and asked me, now who's allowed in the delivery room? And they said nobody. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't even say, oh, okay. But no. And then I don't know if partners were allowed, but me and you weren't.
No, still kids.
I didn't ask for you.
Not really kids, but yeah.
I didn't ask for you, but I asked for my mom, and they was like, no. But I think if it was a partner, they would have let you in. But you were attending at that time, yeah.
I was home. God, I'm on lead.
Yeah.
First semester. Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easter. Yeah, it was Easter.
So yeah. Then I was just like, if I can't have my mom, then okay. I don't know what to do because Lomudu ungizalile akekho. Ongikhulelile akekho. So I was like, okay, it's fine. And my mom told me word for word, Oguti, she could hear me crying. You can hear me screaming. And lapho ngikhumbula ngithuka inhlamba. Honest, but hi, Makumete.
Kube ethanda inhlamba.
The pain was real. Ngathi hi, Makumete ngeke sikwenzeni. Lapho ngiyayikhipha inhlamba. And I was crying, it's Mom. And my mom told me verbatim into engangisho. That's when I saw proof which she was there.
Nenhlamba wayisho.
Yeah. Inhlamba ngangisho from the ward down to the labor ward.
Akayishongo yena.
Yeah. But she could hear ukuthi ngangimemeza yena because I knew she was going to be there. Because wayengitshela ukuthi was going to be, and lapho wayegqoke church clothes, uniform.
Oh yeah.
Because I called her ngathi ngizwa inhlungu.
Okay.
Yeah. Because ngangisho ukuthi ngizwa inhlungu. Yabo and stuff. So yeah.
I didn't know. Ngiyaqala use the church clothes. Okay, yeah.
It was Easter time. So yeah, and then sent you pictures. The first person I said was my mom. And then she got to see him, of course, because she was right there and they allowed her in. And I don't know, you're probably going to edit this thing out, but I shut my pants. Shut myself.
I wanted it out.
Yeah, so I shut myself and the nurses were like, oh, clean it up. And then they offered me food because Mzala Utando at exactly 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'd missed breakfast.
I remember.
Yeah, I'd missed breakfast. So they had brought my breakfast down. And honest, I'd just given birth. And then something the 1-2 spoons. Hayi ngathi lethana buya yonke into.
You wangangitsheli mina lapho.
Yeah, ngathi ngisendelile, ngathi ngiphethe.
Yeah, okay.
Ngathi ngiphethe ngashutha.
Kwabantu abatshela mina ngumuntu esingakhi. That's what I want to know. Because umakho wamtshela the first, she was the first.
She was the first
and
person.
Me, I was the second.
She was the second person. Okay. So of course, if I told my mom, she was gonna tell everybody else. If I told you, you're gonna tell everybody else. So
I mean, I told this Tom, I want to find no babam. I find them is often no babam betrayal. Yeah. Like uzofana no babam. Mina ngifana no babam kodwa wena uzofana no babam.
You think you don't look like your dad, but
nah, mina ngiyibona ngifana no baba and uzofana so.
Okay, but I'm telling you, you look like his dad. So yeah, so that's after the child was taken away from me, saying ngiphethe. Then yeah, ngathi ngizama ukudla, puked and stuff, and then they took me to the ward, and then I got to hold him and spend time with him. And the whole time he's got his eyes closed. And kwakika in a leyo fear yokuthi ngithande kanjani, like awukwazi nokuyibuza nganokuthi ufuna kwenze njani, like
ngibona nje into
fragile, like ngithande kanjani, as in how do you want me to be as your mom, like should I, so many thoughts. I was very scared. I thought I wasn't going to be able to be a mom to him. But at the same time, again, I was super grateful ukuthi ngikhonile ukuba with my first child uma ekhona, because about all those thoughts and fears, I think in general, as a female or pregnant, we're a fully support system, because especially when you have those ridiculous questions ukuthi uyinakekela kanjani ingane, but then if you have a support system, zokhombisa ukuthi no, it's fine, man, it's. And my mother was like that for me, and she did that for the first 2 years of his life. It was great. So yeah, April 13, 2017 for me was a roller coaster of events. It was a frustration because they told me they would induce me, and then I was like waiting for this table. I kick it in. When it finally did, I went through pain in 2 hours, and then I went through fear. During childbirth, I went through fear, and then Masengimbona again was a different kind of fear. A fear indeed, but a different kind of fear. And then when I held him for the first time again, another different kind of fear. But kwakhikya ina uthando engalazi nami. And till this day, uthando ngilibonayo every time I see him, every time I hold him, every time even though he's 5 years old now, turning 6, angikwazi explain, like if you were to ask me today, ukuthi mama, why do you love me? Angikwazi ukuchazela. It's just I fell in love with you. And I'm so glad ukuthi igama lakhe has love incorporated in it, because even my family embraced him with so much love. My mom loved him. Sometimes I even got jealous, thinking to myself, you know. My dad loved him so much. My siblings, and to this day, I'm the only one between my siblings who has a child, and I pray for my siblings to have children because they have so much love to give. So I'm glad igama lakhe uluthando lenkosi initially, which is what my mom envisioned. Uluthando lenkosi, which is God's love, and
So that's his full name.
yeah. So he encompassed more than Luthando lenkosi.
And your mom gave him that name.
And my mom gave him that name. And Caesar's joke is sometimes it became from Uluthando lenkosi to Uluthando lukagogo, because he was best friends with Umawam, best of friends. So yeah. So for me it was a scary moment, but ubone le fear efika nokuba it's not fear you want to run from. It's fear that wants you to go forward with that person. And Uluthando, our child, I've been going forward with him, up until I had to give him to you guys, where I felt like
circumstances
had to force me to distance myself from him. But I'm back with him now, and I still feel Uguti, I have to regain that. But actually, every day, every time, I've never told you this before, anyone, but every time I touch him, you feel that whole feeling of didn't give for the first time. Even if I have to discipline him, I do it out of love. Every time I touch him and he's not in the mood, but Mina, I feel like it's the touch of love. Like, as a parent, I think you would understand that, if it even makes sense, even if I didn't articulate it properly, but I think you'd understand as a parent, as umama, ukuthi umntanakho kunother thing nje. Angimsaba uthando, but now as a mother, that's my perspective. A mother's perspective, or rather my perspective. I'm not going to generalize to mothers, but my mother's perspective, my motherly perspective.
Yeah, almost my mother's perspective.
Yeah, so my motherly perspective, that's me. I was battling with a lot, and Nakona support system imina a lot, and I did get it from you, for real. I really did get it from you, and now mhlambe you want to taste to it a lot, because you feel like you were a father from a distance. But I feel like you were one of those people who was a great support system to me, because you remained present even after that incident where I was getting blood transfusions, and I felt like you were flaky at that moment. But since our child was born, I think you've shown me little support, and I appreciate you and my family a lot, lot. And so I want to know from you now, just to flip the script, Tini. Our child was a week or 2 old. You got to hold him for the first time. What were your first thoughts or feelings about that?
That was
2017 May.
No, I made 27. It was a week later.
April.
So I would say it was about 13. So it was April 21st.
Yeah.
I remember exactly. It was April 21st. I think that was a real wake up call. Kade sikhuluma nge-wake up call. That
So
was a real
isisu
wake up
sami
call.
was not because you've been through my
No,
stomach grow.
no, that was a wake up call because phela wayeseseswini, but into masila.
It's different. Yeah,
That's
it
the
hits
real
different.
wake up call.
Yeah, like I
because
just described. Yeah.
yafika manje, I had to bath him.
You came to my house first of all for the first time.
Yeah.
Just different because we hadn't gone to each other's homes ever. So you had gotten permission to come ekhaya. And uyafika mina uyena no-antosiza ekhaya. And I made it a point ukuthi ngamgezi that morning.
You told me you'd do that, so you just did it.
I told you that I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't, vela ngimgezanga because ngifuna umgeze.
Yeah. Ngamgeza. I was scared. Awukade uchaza nawe ukuthi awusaba like nangisaba. Nali ikhanda like uyazi ingane nje improper
Ikhanda
fraction.
liyayi-
A baby is an improper fraction.
Yeah.
The head is bigger than the body, so.
And mind you, it can't even support its own head.
Yes.
So
Like in the belly, like inkaba le. The belly button, there's a pin. It was scary, and ngamgeza. Like the time imbuka, to me, I would say that was the wake up call because I wanna make it ngiyiqhathanisa manje, and isithombe sashutha on that day when ungishutha naye ngimbambile. Those are two completely different people. I was skinny, dread. Like, angikholwa ukuthi that's me. And that's why I'm saying that was my wake up call. I may have not seen it at that time, but it was my wake up call.
But in hindsight,
man, it was a wake up call. Baba, I don't look like a father. Baba. When I hear you're a decent woman and mina nje. No, I have to say, like,
decent woman.
Yeah, like I'm not humiliating you as in like you're attracted to a screw or umuntu.
Not even.
Not to say a screw is umuntu. What I like, you are attracted to umuntu ozaqile.
What happened? Like,
Not ukuthi I'm body shaming ukuthi umuntu ozaqile, but saying this show like I was a draggy.
I wasn't decent.
I was a draggy.
I wasn't decent.
Okay. I was a draggy. Drag. And let me not say skinny. Let me just say drag. Drag. Ngayibona ukuthi no. I'm not a father. And you want nje image yababa mekunje. So maybe that was my wake up call. So holding him for the first time in my hands, mixed emotions.
Like
Mixed emotions I can't explain. I can't explain these mixed emotions really. Like I was like, is this me? Like I'm sure now if you're watching at home, Lapo, is this me? Especially your firstborn. Okay, so if you have more kids than one, your firstborn, like, okay.
I did this.
You mean hello?
Yeah.
Like it's like you're dreaming. So like,
for sure.
Yo. So
yeah, I think dreaming is a perfect word to explain because now I felt like
I was like I'm dreaming.
Can't be me.
Yeah.
Also sure again now it felt like a dream, a caller and stuff like that. Ukufika impact yokuba khona kokufika ke manje because ngiyayibona ijeni yokukhulelwa kwami and stuff like that. Wenza i-promise da but ukufika kwakhe ke how did that impact you and your journey to self-acceptance? Like he's now right there. It's been a week. He was born. Uzohlangana naye on the 21st of April.
Okay. Let me start here. I forgot to mention earlier, Uti. Before he was born, it was March 17. I remember clearly sasiyoshoot umshado with my cousins sasishoot umshado. That's the last day ngabhema ugwayi. Remember, I made a promise to him, so I kept that promise. So to me, that was a symbol. No, I will keep my promises. I will keep my promises with future. And yeah, bengithi nje angiclarify lo uthi wazala sengiyekile ugwayi. So that means I kept my promise. So his arrival kwi-journey self-acceptance. Ngoba kade sengishilo ukuthi that was the wake-up call. Ngimbambe esandleni. But that was a week later. The following day after he was born, which is 14 April, Kendrick Lamar. I did say on my introductory video, I will mention Kendrick Lamar a lot because his music had impact in my life as a writer, as a person, as a father, as a partner. He's a Gemini, I'm a Gemini. So what released his album Damn, 14 April 2017. He released Damn. The time he pulled me Damn, it didn't hit me that time in Puma. It was like, oh, it's a Kendrick, it's a nice album. But as months went by, it says Aphiwe, I held him in my arms, and around June or something, May, June, Single album, I was listening to nothing but that album. That's when I started to pay attention to lyrics. I've been listening to music before.
As a lot of us do, we don't pay attention
Lil Wayne,
to lyrics,
I remember in 2011, I bought the album. Lil Wayne is a cut of 4. Hanging on the disc. I wasn't paying attention to lyrics. I was umuntu othanda trap. Ngangithanda trap kakhulu, listening to trap. Ngangithanda Lil Uzi Vert, Migos, Raindrop, Drop Top, yabo lonke. But 2017 Kendrick Damn, it had a major impact in my life. Ngoba manje when I listen to ngeke ngisayichaza yonke album, but engisho nje Kendrick, he changed the way I looked at impilo. He changed my perspective about life. Why changed your perspective about life and naye nengane la. So in a way, kumina ngathola ama wake up call. Remember ngathi kwibhasi sinawe, the day I will stop smoking is when I get a wake up call. To me, the birth of our son was the wake up call. And Kendrick, 14 April,
reinforced that wake
up call. No I realized that like months after the album dropped. Oh, you released it a day after. And it was really Easter because Kendrick, there was a fear he's gonna drop a double album on the 15th of because about the uncle theory. Kwabangamazi uKendrick kwathiwa kune-theory ukuthi uKendrick is going to drop a double album on Sunday ngoba kwaku-Friday 14 April on
Easter. It was the Easter weekend.
Yeah, kwathiwa because that album was religious in a way. Kwathiwa he's gonna impersonate himself as Jesus. He's gonna wake up on the third day. So there were more theories he's gonna drop another album. So when I look back, I was like, okay, that was my wake up call. Tando being born, Kendrick dropping.
Yet we're not religious.
So yeah. So those two things, they made me look life differently.
Okay.
They made me look life differently. I wanted to be a better father. I wanted to be a better partner. That's a rhyme. I wanted to be a better person in general.
Can I ask, okay, as a follow-up to that, did you feel like you weren't a good father, a good partner, a good person?
I was living
in terms of a father, did you not feel like you were being a good father? In what sense?
If I'm not a good person in general, like automatically I didn't feel like a good father. I was living a double life for almost a decade. I was living a double life. So automatically I didn't feel like a good father. Ngingaba there for my son, but I felt like I wasn't a good father. the fact ukuthi ngiphile a double life.
And therefore you couldn't be a good partner.
I couldn't be a good person in general. When I say good person in general, I'm saying like good father, good partner, good anything, good son, good brother, good uncle. I had umshana, abashana, niece and nephew. I didn't feel good at all. I didn't feel good for myself. I didn't feel good for myself, so I felt like I had to fix myself. Listening to the album Kendrick deep, and now I'm starting to follow it more. I developed uthando lokubhala. When I look back into my life, I was like, kade ngayiqala lento yokuthanda ukubhala. Sengibheka ama-post ami Facebook, but I was more of a savage. I was more of those people who make
a people
jokes.
Pleaser poster.
Yeah, I was a people pleaser. Ngithola ama-likes ako 150, 100, 200. When I look back, I want to know, okay. Now I'm listening to Kendrick about influenced. Sengiyaqala manje ngibhala poetry, ngibhala ama-quotes. Started changing. I don't remember the exact date, but that was July 2017. July 2017 is when the first time ngishintsha. Sengibhala lezi zinto. And mengibhala lezi zinto lezi, I wasn't posting them. I wasn't posting them on Facebook. Okay, I was posting them on Facebook, but I wasn't posting it on Instagram, Twitter. It was just Facebook because it all started on Facebook. Back then.
Yeah, trolling.
And then my friend, Utabo, the one who does the intro for me.
Shout out.
Yeah, Umtira is called Umtira. That's his stage name.
The intro. He doesn't have to say the intro.
Yeah. He's the one who did the intro for me. Sasihleli kwi-shuttle, sahlala naye kwi-commune. So we speaking about lezi zinto engiyibhalayo, and he was like, why lezi zinto ungayiposti ku-social media, ungagcini ko-Facebook yena, ko-Instagram, WhatsApp, yonke indawo, why ungakwenzi lokho? And from there, July 17 or 18, wafika uThawasho njalo, and I was like, okay. And I started qala manje ngabhala-ke, and ngibhala lapho I'm still hiding the fact that I'm diabetic. And I wasn't, as much as I was writing, I wasn't 100% honest. So that's self-acceptance for me. It made me
So you speaking about self-acceptance where you're like, okay, no, I'm diabetic. Let me hone into this and that. So when does it come to a point where you now are starting to go public with saying, okay, I'm diabetic?
It was during COVID pandemic. Sandaqala lockdown. It was April 2020. So it was a midpoint in my life. A point where I have lived, not the exact date, but months. I've lived half of my life without diabetes, and I've lived half of my life with diabetes. So I was like, internally, okay, if I want to be an authentic poet, authentic writer, I'm influenced by authentic rappers.
Like Kendrick.
Like Kendrick. How can I be an authentic writer if I'm living a double life? Okay, at that time, I'm saying look by me weed because I stopped smoking weed in 2018. 2018 is when I stopped smoking weed. I won't go into how I stopped smoking weed.
It's another episode.
It's another episode for not even in this series, but I'll get into it. But I had stopped smoking weed in 2018, May 31st. That's the last day I smoked weed. So moving on. So I was like, if I want to be authentic writing, so I'm an authentic writer if we would say I'm not authentic in my writings, because I'm the type of person who writes about their life struggles and everything. Hence why I'm doing this Living with Diabetes series. I'm speaking about Giranjan. So I was like, fuck it, let me just go public. It was a irrational decision. It was a decision I took
A long
spontaneously.
time coming.
A long time coming, but I was like, on that morning, let me just do it. Because I was diagnosed in April. I was diagnosed in April 2008. So not imagine 2020, which is 12 years or something later. Let me do it. And I came out publicly. And after I did that, it felt like there's a weight coming off my shoulders. Like I had come full circle, like I was like, oh shit. So this is what I've been depriving myself of.
That freedom.
I've been depriving myself of freedom, of the relief. Now I don't hide anything. So that's self-acceptance in my way. Engakusho ukuthi don't take it as if I'm saying ukuthi I'm doing everything straight by the line.
No.
I'm living how a person with diabetes should be living. I still have my vices that don't go hand in hand with diabetes, but self-acceptance wise, I feel like I've accepted it in that way. You would see
Which
now,
is important.
which is important, exactly, which is important in dealing with it, because if you're not even accepting it, you do uber careless.
Yeah, because I feel like if you don't acknowledge the monster, you won't be able to combat it. So the minute you start accepting it,
Yeah,
the day you decide, no, enough is enough, you'll be able to cut it off. But if I really process is self-denial or denial, then you still got a long way to go. And I goes back to the very beginning of this whole sit down yethu yokuthi ukungitshela kwakho ngiyi-stranger ukuthi u-diabetic kwakuyikona i-subconscious yakho ekutshelayo ukuthi isikhathi sokuthi uyi-accept. I don't take credit for that, even though you give it to me. I do accept it, but I don't take it in the sense yokuthi it's all on me.
yeah.
A part of you needs to also recognize ukuthi you had a lot to do with where you were and where you are now and where you're going to be in future. And a lot of people need to realize that as well. Ekutheni, even if you are diabetic or you have somebody in life who is diabetic and you're watching this series, this could be your first step in acceptance or in your beginning steps of supporting them the right way. And again, mangithi the right way, ngisho in inverted commas, because ayikho indlela right, because abantu abafani. Bekuyinhlanhla ukuthi mina indlela engim-approach-e ngayo lo muntu engitshela imsebenzelile to the point where it got to where he is today and it got to where we are today. Akufani. So my last point of view as a support system for somebody who has a chronic disease, not just diabetes, but a chronic disease in general, is to allow that person to have their experience. You can't take it away from them. And if we impose our fears, our beliefs, our knowledge on them, we take away from them. If I were to say to him, Upemelani, ubune, yekuguti, senzuguti, this is me imposing my fears, my knowledge on them, and not affording them the opportunity to experience. I afforded you that opportunity with my support, with my knowledge, with my love in the background. So don't impose, but be open to their journey with love, acceptance, non-judgment, but also ushiyago naloko phela ukuthi
Empathy.
empathy, number one. Don't be judgmental, be empathetic, go with their pace at the end of the day. Because I think that's what I did with you. Yeah.
So yeah, no, thank you for those words. Now we've come to the end of a self-acceptance episode, and to me, that was the climax. The last 10, 15 minutes, that was the climax of this whole episode. And I want to close it off. I want to close it off with a poem in my book, my upcoming book, Millennial Thoughts. So let me just. So this poem is titled "Thank You." It's a thank you, in a way, for the impact you had in my life that led to self-acceptance. Thank you for your selflessness. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your tolerance. Thank you for your affection. I know it's not your weakness, but your strength. So I won't take it for granted. I appreciate you. I celebrate you. You stimulate my mind. Therefore, I admire you. You are what my heart desires, 'cause you motivate me. Yeah, you elevate me. I pray to God that no one infiltrates this beautiful love, because where love is abundant, so is life. Thank you. Peace. My book, Millennial Thoughts. Don't know if you can see. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.